What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Lion's Den with Seth. You know what, everybody? Not only is this a good time, but I'm not here alone. And so I want to give a special shout out to not just you, the viewers that's watching right now, also the new ones that haven't been here before. So let me tell you very quickly, excuse me, what we focus on. Ladies and gentlemen, we focus on all things leadership, growth, and development with a call to action from the household. Okay, whatever you got going on in there, from the household to out in the community, right? So we want to thank you for being here. So how you doing, Miss Patrice? How's everything, ma'am?
Hey, everything's good. What's up? Happy New Year or happy 2025?
Yeah.
Is it too late to say Happy New Year or
Oh,
we still
it's too
doing
late.
that? Okay.
Yes, yes,
Okay. Well, Happy New Year.
yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Big Herm Dog, what's going on, homie?
What's going on, man? Man, I feel like
Good.
it's been a minute since I've been on the show.
It seemed like it, man. What you been up to, bro? What's up?
Man, well, for the month, my daughter, she's doing this AKA debutante ball thing. So all last month, I
Okay.
was with my daughter doing practice dance and showing her I'm really Fred Astaire out there. But, you know,
Mhm.
so showing her the twinkle toes.
There you go.
But then towards the end of the year, my father, who was battling cancer, he'd been battling for the last couple of years. He succumbed to the disease. And so right before the new year, I've just been dealing with that. And I know that you sent out a message to everybody, letting them know. And I read all of y'all's comments and stuff like that. Just want to let everybody know I appreciate it. Appreciate y'all's well wishes and prayers for me and my family.
Most definitely. Most definitely, man. Well, look, that's what we supposed to do. You know what I'm talking about? That's what we supposed to do. But glad to have y'all on. Y'all, we're glad to be here all together having this great conversation. Y'all, we're talking about lessons in rejection. Okay. And we're talking about in at the workplace. What does that mean to you? All right. Now, and I want to thank you, Herm, for kind of bringing this to light, because I think some individuals don't realize how important that is. And it's not just rejection at work, but even just in general. You get what I mean? How do you deal with that? But today we're going to focus on that right now. So, Miss Patrice, what do you think about that? Rejections in the workplace, for example. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think any form of rejection can be difficult. Um, but I'm always the type of person where I try to take a negative situation and always turn it into a positive. So I believe rejection doesn't have to always be associated with negativity. It can be a positive thing. It could be an opportunity for you to reevaluate yourself, almost kind of do what do they call it, like a checklist, to make sure that that you're on point and, having the opportunity to get constructive feedback or criticism or however you want to call it, but just taking the negative and changing it to a positive and making some changes. So I don't think rejection is a bad thing.
Mhm. Okay. Big Herm. So what made you want to why was this important to you having this conversation?
Well, I heard a saying over my drive back and forth to Florida. I was listening to a show, and a man talked about how he was let go from his job, right? And he felt like he was doing good. Then he knew that people was plotting against him in the background, um, which they were plotting against him, but not for the reasons that he later came to find out. But he knew they were plotting. But his mindset was, they can't take nothing from me if it, what I'm saying, if it's mine. When they ended up taking it from him, and he, instead of, yeah, you always trying to find ways to grow, but sometimes things aren't your fault. And he said that it's like being told, man, you made the best cheeseburger I ever tasted, but unfortunately we're an ice cream shop and that's what we're looking for. You may be great. It might be nothing about you that's really slipping for the most part, but rejection can still happen. How do you handle that? Do you take it as a shot at your ego? Or do you, like Patrice said, take everything as a learning opportunity and move forward,
Mhm. Mhm.
even if it was wrongful.
Right.
even if it was wrongful, you still got to be able to find it to press forward.
That's right. So look, let me ask you this question, all right? And it's not just for us, but it's also for the audience. What if rejection isn't the end, but the beginning of something better? Think about that. What if it isn't the end, but the beginning of something better? And I believe we're all on the same page when it's about really how to deal with that, rejection. So Patrice, give us an example of, if you will, either somebody you know or even yourself, when you were at work and or just anywhere in life, right? And you were rejected, so to speak. How did you deal with it and how did it make you better?
When I think about rejection, I think about the first time that I was actually fired from a job. I was doing collections. I really wasn't into it. I really, I just wanted a job. It wasn't my career. But I was surprised because I had never been fired from a job before. And it was very difficult for me to handle. Initially, I just thought it was about me and my performance. And I really just started to kind of pick apart myself, where in actuality I wasn't the best performer. My heart wasn't in it. It really wasn't something that I wanted to do. So I guess my performance kind of spoke for itself. But it was the first time that I had ever been fired from a job, and I don't think. Being in my 20s, I'm not going to say how old I am now, but being in my 20s, I didn't have any coping skills. I didn't know what to do. I thought this person just didn't like me. But I mean, if you look at the numbers, I was pretty crappy at the job. But I didn't understand all of those things. Being a 20-year-old. So it was very difficult. So I think when you think about rejection, I don't think the first thing you should do is just start to kind of pick yourself apart. And I think that some people have a tendency to do that as a way to handle the situation better, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, Herm, look, we talk about this all the time, right? What if that information is true? You know what I mean? Like, what if you do suck? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you do that? Like, how many times, man, I know it's millions of times, obviously not millions, but a lot more than we can count. How many times you dealt with someone, right? Let's say when we were serving in the military and we had to have this real conversation with individuals versus everyone got a gold star. Everybody got a firewall 5 on their valuation. Like how many times have you really had to have a heart-to-heart conversation and it was constructive and they took it well versus took it wrong?
Plenty of times, man. But I want to talk about when somebody had that heart-to-heart conversation with me and how it changed me.
There you go. Yeah.
But first, like it's just like what Patrice was saying, her story about how she recognized that, instead of in actuality, I mean, she was looking for something in herself and she found that, that she was actually poorly performing. To be most people wouldn't even be able to admit that, right?
See, that's you. I know you can't.
So for me, man, it took me all the way to, well, I was probably 14 years in the military at this time frame when I met this man who was on, I guess, on the show at one time. My mentor still to this day. We were speaking, right? And he's talking to me, and really, it's crazy. I'm not really hearing what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really, and I think he could tell that I'm not listening to what he's saying. I'm just waiting for an opportunity to talk, right? I'm waiting for the opportunity to show what I know. Not really taking what he just talking, right? It's just, and then as soon as I get to talking, he says, Brown, I know you think you all that and everything, but you might really actually be at least decent if you just shut the hell up and let somebody teach you something. No, nobody's ever talked to me like that, man. I mean, you've seen me in person, Seth. You've always been intimidated. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
so stupid. I was waiting for something. It was coming. It was coming.
nobody really, no, I'm just saying nobody really. That's one thing that is lost. You know what I'm saying? Is directness. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you offended me. I could have took that as he offended me or something like that. Talk down to me. But it really put me in my place, and everything just stopped for a second. I realized what I do when people try to mentor me or give me good advice. You know what I'm saying? I start putting up a wall light and start analyzing who's the advice coming from. Like, who are you to
Right.
give me some kind of advice? And that's
Right.
a big flaw on my part. You know what I'm saying? Because you can get advice from anybody. You know what I mean? You can get advice from somebody drunk, homeless, or on the street, and you got to realize, get over yourself. You know what I'm saying? And don't just and analyze all the information you get.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So look, y'all, I want to transition to that and some real good points. I want to transition to uh how do we respond? Okay. Respond, excuse me, or reacting to emotionally, reacting emotionally or responding to understanding, right? With clarity. For example, Patrice, she was like, okay, she was let go, but the numbers didn't lie. You get what I mean? It didn't lie. And also, too, if someone is trying to tell you something, consider the fact that it could help you on out and they're not really lying to you. Maybe you're just not where you think you are. So how do we respond? Like, what would you say, y'all, would be the best way to respond to constructive criticism? Patrice, what you think? What's the best way to respond? Because
Um,
look, let me throw this out there too.
okay.
You know who you are. Now, we're not talking about 20 years ago. We're talking about today, years old. Okay. You know who
Okay.
you are. You've been with yourself all your life. And as soon as someone tell you, well, no, that ain't, nah, you could do better. You get what I mean? Regardless of where they're coming from, to Herm's point, you can get information from anywhere. How do you respond now versus X amount of years ago?
Whew. It's been a lot of growth. Definitely a lot of growth. I think when someone is rejected or when I've been rejected in the past, I feel like my emotions and my thoughts are just running wild. I just feel like this adrenaline rush, and I just have to remember to try to remain professional, especially if I'm at work. That's very important. If it's in a workplace, is to remain professional, acknowledge what the person has said to you, and like I said, try to find the positive aspect of it instead of the negative portion of it. I think just slowing down, try to slow the moment down in your mind. I think that makes a huge difference so you don't miss out what is being communicated to you by the other person. And then you can also find tips of how you can be better in the next situation.
There you go. What'd you think, Herm? Like you today, you versus senior airman you. Now,
Okay. So first thing that even back then or even now, but more so even now, I gotta make sure it's not constructive sabotage first. You know what I'm saying? Because what can come off as somebody trying to help you could be somebody just trying to paint a narrative about you that really isn't true. You know what I mean? So I gotta make sure, and even in that, you gotta react a certain kind of way. You know, when it's constructive sabotage, I'm gonna listen to it, but I'm not gonna take it as okay. There might be some truth to this. I need to take that as okay. Let me see what's being said about me, right? Constructive criticism. I think the best response for me today sometimes is no response, because what I need to do is be able to process what's being said to me without feeling the need to. I always got to defend myself. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, when we get somebody to say, hey, this what the reason why I'm like this, and you giving your rebuttal reasons why, you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't need, just take in what they're saying, sit with it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times it's hard to hear, nobody's uh, ready to hear about themselves, you know what I'm saying, all the time. So I might not be ready to hear your constructive criticism, but I know I need to hear this because it's coming from a place of love or a place from somebody that I trust. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna, they give it to me, sit with it, you know what I mean, analyze it, and see where, like, Patrice said, y'all said, where I can get better at. You
that's
know
right.
what I mean? Because that's the reason why it's given to me. You know what I'm saying? Constructive criticism is given to me for that reason. You know what I mean? So sometimes the best response is just don't respond, because you're going to respond out of an emotion, especially if you're like me and going to respond emotionally and feel like you got to defend yourself.
Absolutely. And just, in the back of your mind, you're saying, like, who they think they talking to,
Yeah,
right? And
real.
so, like, immediately you start to analyze everything that they did that was contradictory to what they're bringing up right now. And so I think about it too as well, right? Now better. Like, okay, I'm listening to someone in my mind that I may consider to be an idiot. Okay. All right. Let's be real. I'm saying this to myself. All right. Now, but a broke clock is right at least once a day. All right. So, what do you do? How do you analyze that? And to your point, I've never heard that terminology. That what is it? That sabotage. What did you call it?
I just made it up just now.
I can tell because
Right. I mean, I'm hoping it makes sense. You know what I mean?
It does make sense. But I was thinking of another word. You have the constructive criticism and destructive criticism.
Yeah.
Okay. There's some things that build you up and some that just show enough break you down. And to your point, there's some individuals that low key, it's like dry hating. You get what I mean? It's not direct, but it's passive aggressive. Like, what would really be nice? I think you should have did this. Like, what you did was good. It was great. But maybe you see. So it's trying to find the balance, if you will, to hear what someone is trying to say to help you and what someone is really saying within the undertones, right? So here's something. How do we navigate around that? Right? Meaning practicing compassion, seeking feedback, and reframing from a different mindset. So now that we are here at this stage of life and we're talking to anybody that's whatever, they can be at work or they can be in a ridiculous relationship or they're just trying to find ways to better themselves. How would you suggest that they learn how to take feedback and not personally? So, Patrice, what you think about that? Right? Because if kidding want to grow, and ladies and gentlemen, this is what we focus on seriously, right? This whole growth and development. And if you knew better, you would do better. If you think about that. So if you want to do better, you have to be willing and open for feedback. So, Patrice, how would you suggest individuals can position themselves to be open to feedback without taking it so personal?
I think the goal is that you're trying to be a better version of yourself. So that comes with positive feedback and it also comes with negative feedback. What you may consider negative may not be negative to someone else. It may be just a different perspective or a different way to look at a situation, I would think. I think it's important to just remain calm and not to get emotions wrapped up into it because those emotions is what cause you to react in a manner that you probably wouldn't react normally. So I think if you separate the two and you really take a look at the matter for what it's really worth, I think you'll be able to realize that the person is really just trying to help you more so than to tear you down. And even if you do feel like the person is trying to tear you down, what exactly is a person trying to say? What's the objective? What's the motive? It's a lot of things that kind of go into that. So you don't necessarily have to take what someone says for face value, but I think it's important to reevaluate yourself.
Yeah. What you think, huh?
I think that one thing people need to always keep in mind is what their own personal goals are and what they're trying to achieve. Right? And so when they get this information, does it fall in line with helping them reach their goal? You know what I'm saying? And where they're trying to get to. I think that's the first thing that people need to realize when somebody's coming to you with constructive criticism. Hey, is it going to help you? It may not have sounded great, but is it going to help you? You know what I'm saying? You stuck in this situation for a reason. Is it going to help you? And like what Patrice was talking about for the people that don't mean you well, and like what you said, Seth, a clock is right. What you said, broke clock is right twice a day,
Once a day.
once a day. I knew it was something corny like that.
You so
You
stupid.
know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is, you know, you listen to that person might accidentally help you with something. You know what I mean? But in the end, even if it's not right, what is you getting irate going to do besides knock you out of your own position? You know what I mean? And people seeing a side of you that sticks with them. Like, man, I didn't know that he was like that or she was like that. You know, that happened to me towards my retirement. I'm in a meeting. I'm in a briefing with our 06, and somebody tried to interrupt me while I was talking, and I snapped. You know what I'm saying? I said, yeah, you do that with everybody else, but you ain't doing that with me. Like I'm on the street. Everybody in there. I'm like, all my leadership is in there. I'm like, what is this for? And now, you know what I'm saying? The reserve, strong leader that they thought they saw is now like, hey, we need to talk to him because he can't be snapping like that on people.
Right.
Smacking chairs. Like, you know what I'm saying? And what did I accomplish? Did I show I was tough? See. No, I showed I was a fool that couldn't control my emotions, you know what I'm saying, just because something got uncomfortable for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yo, so look, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all just tuning in, we're talking about lessons in rejection from home, at the workplace, and how do you learn from it? So feel free, chime in, y'all. What type of lessons have you learned from, you know, individuals saying maybe you're good, but you're not good enough for this position? How do you grow from that? How do you glow from that? All right. It's even from being let go from a job to having to change jobs, changing, you know, having to go from one bad relationship to another. What have you learned? Especially if you was in a relationship and it wasn't your fault, like you had every intentions of doing this thing forever. You get what I'm saying? And things happen. And you may have felt as though this person is not my person anymore. How do you grow from that? Okay. So let me open it up to Patrice. What do you think as far as rejection that individuals should learn or that you may have battled with and that are, you know, that you're growing through as far as rejection? You got it. What you think?
I think it's just important to not be so hard on yourself. I mean, it's a part of life. Everybody is not going to be on your team, and that's okay. And there may be people who are more experienced than you, that are better at the job than you, or, you know, is better fit for the relationship than you. I mean, things happen. Just don't be so hard on yourself, because when you're hard on yourself, it makes it more difficult to come out of that season. It makes it more difficult for you to see, you know, positive outcomes that are available to you, because you're so busy being wrapped up in your emotions and the shoulda, couldas, and woe is me, and you know, feeling bad for yourself. I mean, it's just a part of life. You know, like they say, what's the saying? One man's trash is another man's treasure. It's the same thing if you're in a workforce, if you're in a relationship. I mean, it just may not be the fit at that moment for you. So you go and find the right fit for you. You're not gonna wear shoes that's too small, are you?
No.
It sounds nice there.
Yeah. Hey, you know, hey, look at you. Hey, look, hey, women do it all the time, don't they? Hey, if you,
They do.
The toe throwing up the west side, yeah. You know what I'm
like
saying?
this. Hey, but it look good though, right?
What kind of shirt do I got on that day? You know what I mean? Who knows?
Exactly. What you think, Herm? What do you think is a lesson learned, bro, that individuals should get, or that you still working through?
Right. Like personal rejection, right? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times that kind of hits the hardest. Like, you know, somebody rejects you personally. One thing that, I mean, and I know this is not going to go for a lot of people, you know what I mean? But one thing that I know when I get rejected is people got bad taste. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people not going to know they're not going to understand where I'm coming from. You know what I mean? But if it's me, if somebody like me is getting rejected, I'm thinking, man, they really ain't got good taste. You know what I mean?
For real, Patrice. Exactly. Is that what it is? Okay.
No, but what
Jesus Christ.
about rejection, right? I remember retiring out of the Air Force and going on a job hunt and actually going on interviews and didn't get the job. Now, full disclosure, coming out the Air Force with the record I have and, you know what I'm saying, the accolades that I had, I was a little bit full of myself, thinking there's no way I'm going to get rejected for these jobs. Look at my record. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. And look at how I'm dressed. I got this. You know what I mean? And to get rejected, it lets me know that there's a lot of people just as equally confident in themselves with an equal record, you know what I'm saying, or a better record than you. You are not always, you know what I'm saying, as great as you are and as great as your mama tell you are, you know what I'm saying, you're not always going to fit that mold. You know what I mean? You're not always going to be the answer to their problem. And that's fine. You know what I mean? What you do is not eternalize and understand that no did not kill you. It might have brought you down to earth about yourself a little bit, you know what I mean? And make you go look at your resume a little bit harder, make sure there ain't no misspellings and all that on there. You know what I mean? And then go back out there to get knocked down again. You know what I'm saying? Because you never get told yes, you know what I'm saying, if you can't get through the nose.
That's right. You know, I'm glad you said that because, yeah, no, ladies and gentlemen, what I use it for is next opportunity. Full disclosure, what you see behind me is a seal. All right. Where's that? Yeah. This seal here, right, is from Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. All right. Now, it was a long time coming. Reason being, since 2018, ladies and gentlemen, I've pursued this organization. Now, I was in the military first time, and hey, I was ready to go. Had to deploy, had to go overseas. Second time, I wanted to be a part of this outstanding organization. I had a job that came through, said, look, you won't have time to really pursue this the way that you really need to in order to, you know, make it, you know, to go through it. So the third time I said, all right, everything is done. Everything is good to go. I don't have all these extracurricular activities going on. I'm ready. Went through it. No, was going through it. Right. Make sure everything was lined up, was fine. Had all my money ready and everything. Make sure my suits and everything was good to go. And lo and behold, I didn't make it. Oh my goodness. Woo, Herm, no, it hurt my soul. You get what I'm saying? Because in my mind, what? I'm the epitome of this. You dig? Like what I came out, I came out with it on my face, if that makes sense. So I'm looking at these people like, who? Wait, no, you mean the other Seth Miller. You get what I mean? You mean somebody else because, of course, not me. Now, here's the deal. There was things that went on that was outside of my control, all right? And this is something that we need to really talk about. When there's things going on that's outside of your control, what can you control? What you can control is how you respond. How you control, what you can control is, do you get back up? Do you stay down? Do you stay, just like Patrice was talking about, just staying in that space of, woe is me now? And me being an overthinker, I'm up, like 4 a.m, thinking about things that I didn't finish thinking about yesterday, for real. So when this happened to me, it was a problem. However, having great individuals in your circle, right? And people keeping it real with you, not gassing you up like, oh, they stupid. They don't know what they missing. No. They don't know what they, okay. No, what could I control? So what I had to learn was timing, number one. Number two, if you truly want something, you're going to do everything you need to do it. And maybe it's not at your time, but the right time. Like I said, I tried 4 times. I got it on the 4th time, if that makes sense. But it's the pursuits of it because I knew it was inside of me. So y'all think about this. What does it mean? Like, well, not necessarily what does it mean. How do you really deal with situations that's outside of your control? Patrice, Let me ask you, how do you deal with things that's outside of your control? Meaning you done everything that you could, right? You dotted the I's, crossed the T's, you showed up, you know what I mean? You there, the hair and everything is right, everything is popping. You get what I'm saying? But it was something that an external, external things prevented that prevented the desired outcome that you wanted.
I think when I was younger, I could never see the outside. I was always, thinking everything was about me. As I've gotten older, I've realized that there are outside factors that will affect how things end. And it's just important, I guess, to just realize that it's just not about you all the time. And I think that comes along with growth. You don't realize that as a younger individual, you take everything to heart. You do get defensive, as Herm said earlier. You take it personal. We're just emotional people. And I think once you get older, you get a little bit more control of your emotion and you can reevaluate the situation and realize, oh, okay, maybe there is something else that's actually going on besides what I actually see. I think so. Once you put that in perspective, I think you're able to handle the situation a little bit better once you take the you out of it and kind of just reevaluate the situation. It's just not all about you all the time.
Mhm. See, look, Herm. Hey, don't say that to Herm. Go
Mm.
ahead, Herm. What you think,
It,
bro?
I think that sometimes you got to know how to accept losses. You know what I mean? I mean everything. Even though it's set up for you to win, you got everything. You're doing everything right. Sometimes there's things that's going on in the background just that's even greater than you. You know what I mean? And you're going to get passed up, or something's going to happen, and it may be unfair. There's no such thing as fair. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but it's not. As long as we always have the human element out there, there's going to be reasons that's beyond your control to why you did not get that position, why you did not get that promotion, why you did not get it. You know what I'm saying? Why you missed certain opportunities. And once you understand and take them losses, now if something happened that you deemed it was illegal, get the right advice from a legal expert and not Facebook and TikTok.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Don't get on there and your favorite streamer is telling you what to do and you run up in job and come up short. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's a different conversation. If it's something you feel like is illegal against the code of ethics or whatever, you talk to legal representation and figure it out from there. But other than that, learn to take some of those losses to set yourself up for the win. That's just how it is.
All right. So I like that. Now let's talk about the positive side of it, right? When you don't get what you want and you say, thank God I dodged the bullet. You get what I mean? Or, hey, I thought this was a job I wanted and they said no. And I'm like, okay, I licked my wounds and everything. But hindsight, it's like, wait a minute. I really didn't need to be there. You get what I mean? Has that ever happened to y'all? I mean, think about it. Has there ever been, like, I remember, I ain't gonna say my age, obviously, because I'm up there if you do the math. But I remember a time, you know what I mean, back in the day, I was fly with my Jerry curl, show you right. And so I called myself talking, wanting to, have a conversation with the young lady, right? Because I was just in there. I knew it. Okay. So, but for some stupid reason, she said no when she tried to play me, right? Hey, I ain't forgot your name, but I'm glad. I'm glad it didn't happen. Okay. But there's the deal. Here I am, right? Looking for where we are right now in life. And I look back because Facebook is Facebook. So you go back and I'm like, I wonder what so and so is up to. Just looking and see. Yeah. That was a very nice bullet that was dodged. Okay. It was like that Matrix, like, whoa. Woo woo! Show you right. Hey, whatever I was looking at right then and there back then, no, I don't know what was going on. So that was a good thing. That was a great rejection, if that makes sense. So outside of that, have y'all ever had a situation not just that, but any time in life when you dodged the bullet and you was actually glad that you were rejected? Look at that, Patrice. For real? Not for real? Oh, see, she's never rejected, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. It don't happen. It don't
That's
happen.
right. That's right. That's right. I'm not rejected often. I'm not rejected often, so I really don't.
Real. You see how we do? Look, either we're all like a room full of Aries, or everybody is related to her. Is that what's going on? What about you, Herm?
Like rejected?
Yeah. For real? Look, you make me sick because you know what's gonna happen. We gonna end up having the conversation.
It's like, oh, that's hard to do that to me.
No, it ain't. Look, for real. How many times you did karaoke and they booed your ass off? I actually tried booing you off. I tried booing you off.
No, but just like you know, I remember this, man. You know how they said, what's the start of your villain story? Right? You know what I'm saying? When they talk about like villains in comic books, like what's their origin story, right? Yeah. My origin story happened when I was 14 years old. Okay. I was dating the prettiest girl, and you know what I'm saying, that I ever thought I would be able to see at 14. Everybody's pretty like that. Mm-hmm. She broke up with me because I was too nice. I couldn't believe it. She said, "You're just too nice to me." And the dude she liked was a dude that couldn't read and pretend like he was in a gang. That couldn't whoop me either. I was like, so, because he said he's in a gang, but I'm just too nice. Man, I've been on a rampage ever since, man.
Goodness gracious.
You know what I'm saying? That was my villain story, man. That's how I turned into, that's how I turned into the Joker.
That's how you turned into the Joker, because your feelings got hurt.
Villain now. You know what I mean?
No. So
okay. I do have a story. I do.
Come on now. Come on.
Okay. This I don't want to pull any tears from anybody, but I remember the first time that a young man asked me to marry him. I was all ready to go, and this literally happened to me 2 days, 48 hours before the wedding. He told me he was having reservations about getting married. Now, keep in mind, I have people on the plane that are coming, to come to the wedding. They're traveling. People have bought dresses. Bridesmaids are ready. I mean, it's 2 days. So if you've ever been married before, 2 days is right at the end. Everything is wrapping up. Yeah, that was very, very difficult for me. And it was really, I think, my first form of rejection. And the way that I handled that, and if my mother was here today, she could tell you a story. But basically, I just went to the paint store and I got the hottest pink paint that I can find. And I just painted my room pink, my bedroom pink, just as a way to kind of cope with it, because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to break anything. I didn't want to hit anything. I didn't want to injure myself. So in order for me to really get over that moment, I painted my room pink. And even when I got over the situation, I left the room pink as a reminder, to remind me about that rejection or that feeling that I felt. But it was an awful, awful feeling. And in that particular situation, it was extremely emotional. I couldn't separate myself from the situation, because it's 2 days before you're supposed to get married, and the groom says to you that they're having reservations. I don't know why he didn't say that a month before the wedding or 6 months before. I don't know, but yeah. So I would say I'm definitely better, and I definitely dodged a bullet for sure. But of course, in that moment, you don't see it that way. You just see it as another tragic event in my life.
So, ladies and gentlemen, full disclosure, as she was talking and I heard her, and she was talking about, hey, I grabbed the paint, the hottest pink. Where do y'all think my mind went?
His crib and car?
Yo, immediately, whatever kind of car he had, it was about to look like it was garbage.
Hot Wheels, man. I thought
it was about to be out of line. So, hey, as a matter of fact, I want to give you the congratulations.
Every other man thought.
Yeah, listen. Congratulations for not being out of line. Lord have mercy, boy.
I grabbed the hottest paint and I went straight to his house.
Or straight to his car. Hey, while he was working. Oh, that's a hard one. 2 days.
It's tough.
Yeah, that's
Two
crazy, right?
days.
I understand the
2 days.
kind of mess right there, though. You know, but I mean, you was in my wedding, Seth.
Yeah,
Could you imagine me calling that off 2 days before?
bro, you would not be living today.
Man, nah, I'll be dead.
You would not be living. And plus,
Crazy.
hey, that's a huge family too. You was gonna get it
Man.
from multiple states.
Patrice, and my wedding was like 350 of her family and 7 of my people.
Right,
I
right,
was like,
right. Damn, that's crazy.
I
So
don't know what dude was on. That's crazy, right?
yeah, he's out of line for that. But you said you dodged the bullet, right? So
Yes.
hey, there you go. Good. And you know what? He's probably regretting this every day of his life.
Got to be.
Got to be.
Yeah, I did see him, maybe a couple of years later, and he was definitely regretting it. I mean, I was looking good as usual, I was smelling good, looking good. So he definitely missed out, and I'm sure he felt it.
Mhm.
So,
Hey, one of my exes that, you know what I'm saying, that I was passionate about when I was in high school is out here working at Sonics, man. You know, I love
oh,
people doing well.
Ain't nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it, man. It's
Oh,
just,
wait, hold on. Is she on the fries?
I don't know, man.
Is she-
I only
is
go there
Betty-
for milkshake.
Damn it. You only know why?
I only go there for milkshake. She never made my milkshake, so I don't know. But it's just funny how nothing.
Listen, we are not having petty moments, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to really help us on now. But hey, honestly, though, y'all look, it's real
But
life.
hey, she probably saw me. It's like, damn, that dude done got fat. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna tell her what she thought. You know what I mean?
Yo, but look where she's looking at.
Hey,
From what perspective? You get what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the ugly thing. Well, look, final thoughts, right? Let's give you final thoughts. Patrice, what do you think about rejection and how to overcome it? Okay. How to overcome it, what type of tips you can give, for individuals as far as anything, lessons learned. This sometimes can be a setup for a comeback. Okay. And just how to look at those things. What would you like to give to our viewers?
I would say that rejection doesn't necessarily have to mean failure, and it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. Always try to look at the positive in a situation so you can be a better version of yourself. Remain calm. Make sure that you get a full view of or a full perspective of what's going on with the situation. And, you have to realize that sometimes a closed door means that there's another door that's going to be open and waiting for you. So take it with stride, take it with pride, take it with the growth, and just come out better on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What you got, Big Herm?
I would say this, man. Life is filled with things like rejection, and we use it all as a learning mechanism. And no matter how good we get at it, we still stumble. Let me give you an example. Learning to walk as a baby was very difficult in the beginning. We kept falling down, but we still got back up. Even as grown adults, you know what I'm saying, we still fall down. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then slip, trip, something, and fall. That's the same thing with rejection. Rejection is just another little setback of something that you go through in life that you get up and get stronger from and learn something from. You're never going to stop falling. You're never going to stop falling, no matter how good you get at walking in life, right? So with that in mind, when you're looking at stuff like rejection and understand that, hey, this is a part of it. There's all kind of things in life that shows that we're supposed to have these kind of setbacks. Walking, riding bikes, anything. Just use that and press forward.
Yeah. No. There's some good points. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll end y'all with this. It's a few things, right, that we can do to look at when it comes down to rejection. So you can actually stay focused on the long-term goal. Use rejection as fuel for your growth, if that makes sense. And another thing, we just want to make sure that you understand what we talked about, right? Just recapping on the emotional impact on rejections. all right, and strategies on how to deal with them. And also, it sometimes, a lot of times, it's a good setup for a comeback. Another thing that you can do too is just flip the narrative. Flip the narrative, like Patrice was saying. As a matter of fact, when we started the segment, how can you look at that situation and reframe your mind? Maybe this isn't what I needed, or maybe they're giving me some information that I need. All right. And always remember, rejection isn't failure, it's evidence that you're reaching your highest potential and you're trying. And the last thing, too, not everybody that's telling you something, they're not always haters.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in mind. Not everybody is hating on you. Sometimes they see something in you that you don't. And so ask yourself, is this true? To yourself. All right. Because obviously they're telling you, but give it a minute. Don't respond, or excuse me, don't react as like, yo, you don't know who you talking to, boom, boom. You ain't never did this, boom, boom. Take a minute, thank them. Okay, thank them and go on about your business. But really think about it. Can that help to move the needle to where I'm trying to go? Maybe they see something in me that I don't. Okay. And if it's true, it's true. If it's not, keep it pushing. But other than that, though, ladies and gentlemen, we do want to thank y'all for joining us and realizing that there are many, many lessons to rejection, but it's seriously how you deal with it. But until next time, we will see you next week. Right on? Right on. Later.